Hi everyone, I'm Will Brown and welcome to WPQuickies, bite-sized WordPress tips and tricks in 30 minutes or less. This is a quick one, a little bit of a fun one today. So we're going to be talking about 404 error pages in WordPress and just in general as well. Wherever you are, hit the subscribe, bells, notifications, thumbs up, everything to boost the social media. That'd be fantastic. Thank you guys for joining me on this. We've got a WordPress group as well, a Facebook group, WordPress Sydney Meetup. You find that on Facebook, and we kind of broadcast live into that channel, into that group, and we also kind of post stuff as well. So I've got a whole ton of content that I'm going to be posting in the new year. So we're really going to be ramping up this Facebook group for next year. Guys, if you just drop your name and where you're from in the comments below so I know who's watching. At the end of this, all the links as well, I create them and I put them in the description underneath the videos on all the social platforms and on Meetup as well. So you'll have the links to the presentation, you have the links to the stuff that I've mentioned as well. So that'll be good. Let's see who we've got online today. We've got Mr. Meowpuss. Greetings and salutations from Sydney CBD. Hope this is nice in the CBD as it is here in the West. And Joey J, tuning in from Singapore. Hi, Joey, Mr. Meowpuss. These are two of my WP Quickie regulars. Thanks for joining me. Hey, guys, if you've got any questions, you can drop them in the comments below. I don't expect many questions today. It's a pretty simple topic, a little bit of a fun one as well. So let's jump in. I'm going to use this picture-in-picture. I really love this new picture-in-picture from StreamYard. I think it's a great little thing. So today, we're going to be talking about 404 pages. So what makes a great 404 page? I would say something that is both useful and maybe a little bit memorable and fun as well. You certainly don't want people to linger on your 404 page. It needs to allow a smooth transition to some useful information on your site. But you can get creative and have some fun too. So let's have a quick look through some of these we've got today. So when does a 404 error page display? Now, not everyone knows what a 404 error page is. So if the website, maybe your WordPress website, could be any website, cannot find an exact match to the URL you've requested, and that might be something you've typed in, it could be something that you've clicked through from as well, then in this case, the web server doesn't know what to serve out, so it serves out this, what we call a 404 error page. And it's really there to indicate that the particular resource, the page, the URL that you've typed in, you've clicked through, doesn't exist on that server. Now that resource, it could be a post, it could be a page, it could be an image, it could be another file asset, whatever it is, the server doesn't know what it is, so the standard 404 error page is displayed. Now, typically, you're going to receive a default web server response for 404 errors, and that could come in the format of something, a little message that says 404 not found, HTTP 404 not found, 404 error. The page cannot found, or the requested URL was not found on this server. And it's usually just a blank white page with that error message on it. But a lot of people like to use their own 404 pages and customize them. And you'll see some graphics throughout this presentation. I've kind of grabbed a few funny ones along the line. I think this one is Pixar, or it could be Disney as well. And it's just to make things a little bit more exciting, a little bit more fun than just a plain old boring white screen with a message on it. Excuse me. Now, if you use Google Analytics on your WordPress site, you can actually easily find out which pages are generating 404 errors. So quickly nip onto Google and make sure that you've got your property set to the website that you want to look for 404 errors in. So then we browse to the Behavior tab. We click on the Site Content, and under Site Content, All Pages. Now, you want to go to the top right-hand side where it says day, week, month, and click through a period that you can see. It usually defaults to 1 day, so you want to look at least over a week and maybe a month as well to capture all your 404 pages. And then underneath the graph, where it says primary dimension, you want to click on page title. And then a little bit along, and I've highlighted those in the boxes, in the search field, you want to type page space not space found. And that's WordPress's default response when an error page is displayed. So you click on that, click on the search, press return, and underneath the graph, you'll see all the lists of all the pages that are generating 404 errors on your WordPress website. So it's a really easy, really quick way to find all your 404 pages. You can do it through Google Console as well. You can easily find all your 404 pages, but it's something you want to keep an eye on. 404 pages happen all the time. So sometimes, resources won't be found, or you'll change a blog or change a post for that, and you maybe forget to do a redirect, and it's going to generate this error. It could be an old post that you don't have anymore. But you want to keep an eye on those. It's a pretty natural thing for a web server to display a 404, but Google, if you find it's generating a lot of 404 pages, that can be really quite bad for your SEO. So you want to keep on top of your 404s, check regularly, maybe every month or every quarter, and have a look at all the 404 errors that are being generated by your website. You can do it here in Google Analytics, you can do it in Google console, and make sure that you redirect. So do a 301 redirect to another piece of content as well for that. So don't just leave all the 404 errors there. The more it builds up, the more negative impact it has on Google for that. Hi, John. How you doing from the Caves Beach? Thank you for joining in. So how do you edit those 404 error pages on WordPress? Now here I've got a picture of the WordPress template hierarchy. I'll just get rid of myself there. So this kind of works from, I guess you'd say, from right to left as you're looking at it. So the Windows template hierarchy, this is what happens when you install a theme with WordPress. It follows this kind of hierarchy. So on the very right-hand side, we've got the index.php file. So WordPress is built on PHP. So it runs through PHP pages, it compiles them, and then spits out the HTML. But the very first page that WordPress goes through is called the index.php. We can see this at the very, very right-hand side. So this is what happens when you call on a page on your theme. It goes through index.php, then it goes to some other pages. What's the next one there? I can't actually read that. It is singular.php, and then it branches out, depending on the type of information that you're looking, to the archive. So that could be your tags or categories archive. It could be a single PHP, so that could be a blog post. Then you've got your page.php, which are your pages, your home.php, which is your very front page, and then 404 if it's not found, and then search.php for the search file. So the kind of three in from the right-hand side, you've got your 404.php, and that's your theme template for displaying any 404 pages. So what that does is it overrides the web server response. So it could be Apache or Nginx, and will spit out a 404 error, a default page for them. But WordPress allows you to customize this response and override this web server and generate your own content for that. So if we're looking at this 404 page, I'll get rid of myself again. If you look at this 404 page, this is in the 2021. It's one of the WordPress default themes that's always shipped with WordPress core. So this is the 2021, and this is the 404.php file in the code in the file. Now I've stripped out some of the comments at the top just so it can fit in, but you can see how simple this template is. We've got the get header function at the top, which outputs the WordPress header information. So that's the header, the primary navigation, the logo. Then at the very bottom, we've got get footer, and that displays the footer information. And in between that is the 404 page content. And we can see here it's got kind of two areas. It's got a header class where it surrounds the H1 headline title, and that's just basically outputting a bit of text. It says nothing here. And then we've got another div, which is a wrapper, and it basically wraps around the page content, and it says, it looks like nothing was found at this location, maybe try a search, and then we just output the search form. So it's pretty simple. If you want to edit that, if you're running one of the 21 pages, it's got like one of these default ones, then just go into there. All you simply need is to know a little bit of HTML, a little bit of CSS, find a code editor as well, and then you can just edit, add to it, change some of the text, change some of the wording. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then you can customize that particular template. Now, pretty much all WordPress themes are going to have a 404.php. If it doesn't, then it's going to fall back on this default kind of WordPress generated response for that. So it's really easy to start editing the code for your theme. Now, if you're using a page builder, now if you've got a pro version of a page builder like Elementor or Beaver Builder or Divi or Oxygen, they all supply a template type for a 404 page. Now they're in kind of different locations, but they all provide a basic template. You can override the WordPress 404 and build your own 404 page. And this is probably the easiest way to create a 404 page because there's no coding required. So let's have a quick look at how to do that in Elementor. So you've got Elementor Pro installed. You want to navigate to templates and then theme builder and then click on the add new button. And this is the pop-up dialog box that comes up. And it's asking you to select the type of the template you want to work on. And we want to click on single. And that comes from that template hierarchy. So we saw on the right-hand side, it's index.php. Then it goes to singular and then single, because a 404 is a page, it's a single. So we want to choose the single option. And then the post type, and we want 404 page, because 404 page is a known type to WordPress. So we want to click on that, and then you can give it a name, and then click on create template, and then that's going to boot up the Elementor builder. The first thing you're probably going to see is the library dialog box. So Elementor and Beaver Builder, they come with these kind of preset 404 templates. Some of them are a little bit funny, some of them are kind of plain or kind of more business-like, depending on your style. And you can scroll through them. There's maybe about 10 or 12 in Elementor that you can choose from. And you don't have to. You can choose a blank template, but sometimes it's nice to have something to kind of basically start off with and then modify a little bit from there. So you can choose a template or you can build from scratch. Create your design. After you've created your 404 template and you're ready to publish, make sure that you add a condition as to where this template is going to be displayed. So you'll find this dialog box. It's down the left-hand side. When you publish and you add a condition and you want to include this particular template on, and there's a drop down and 404 page. So that's basically telling Elementor that you only want to display this on a 404 type page, which is what you want to do because it's a 404 page template. So that's how to do that in Elementor. Now, I've been using GeneratePress on a client website over the last 6 weeks, I guess, the client built. And they've got a similar process for generating 404 pages. Of course, you're going to need Generate Pro. But it's also super simple and requires absolutely no code at all. So what you want to do in GeneratePress, you want to navigate to Appearance and then Elements and then Add New Element. And for the element type, let's get this little dialog box that pops up. You want to choose Block. And that's going to allow you to use the WordPress block editor to create your 404 page. So here's a simple one here. It's got a question mark, just error 404, a little bit of a message, and a link to the home page. Now, before publishing this, you want to make sure that you click on the display rules tab down the bottom, and then there's a location. And again, very, very similar to Elementor and Beaver Builder and all the others. You want to click on that selection drop down and choose 404 template, and then publish your page. And once that's done, whenever you hit on a 404 page, then GeneratePress will then override the 404 WordPress template and spit out your design here. Okay, some questions, or at least one question. Should I redirect my 404 error page? Now, I've seen this done quite a few times in client websites, whereas what they do is that in the htaccess or in a plugin, they will redirect any 404 issues to maybe their homepage or their sitemap page. Now, while this sounds a bit appealing in the first place, you've got to remember that the 404 page serves a purpose. It's telling you that the content is missing. And if you're redirecting, if you're bypassing that, then you're not going to get the information in Google Console and Google Analytics showing you that there's content missing. So if you direct all your 404 errors to another page, you're never going to know what content is missing from your website. And that's going to build up time and time again. And as I mentioned before, more 404 pages that you have, the less credibility you're going to get in your SEO. So should I redirect my 404 error page? My answer is no. Leave it as is, customize the template, but leave the 404 page there so you're getting those results in the Google Console. You're getting those 404 results in Google Analytics. You can look at it and you can address them and you can get rid of them by redirecting to different content. Okay, so here we go. What should I put on my 404 page? I love these 404 pages. Some of them are really, really creative. I love this one. 404, I stole your site, but it seems like you busted me. Go to prison. Now, the concept of 404 page, it should be there to tell a visitor what they are looking for cannot be found and help them to find some relevant content. Grab a cup of tea. Now, you may want to include some things on your website, such as, on your 404 page, such as a short description of what went wrong and why the visitor is seeing this unexpected content. Because they're obviously clicking through expecting to find something and it's not there. So you want to make sure that the brand of your 404 page sits in with the brand of your website, so that when they land on it, they kind of know that they're still in your website, even though there's some unexpected content there. And a little bit of an explanation as to what they're seeing, so for example, this page is not found, whatever you requested isn't there, sorry, I can't find your information, things like that. And you want to make sure that message is simple and human friendly. Now, a lot of the 404 pages that I came across actually say error 404 or 404 not found, but a lot of people don't understand what a 404 message is. All they know is they've clicked through on a website, they've not found the content that's they're looking for. So you need to have some human-friendly information that just basically tells them that here's something that they're unexpected, and then kind of pushes them into what next to do. So give them some options on where to go. Now, that could be a simple site search box at the bottom, just a field with a button that allows them to search your site and find more relevant information. It could be links to your site's most popular content. It could be links to your products as well. So maybe your top 5 products, you could display them on the bottom and say something like, is this what you're looking for? Product not found, but is this what you're looking for? Or maybe your top content, maybe your top blog content. So depending on what site that you're running, you can really use your error 404 page to kind of sell and push the customer, the visitor, is to kind of different areas of your website from there. And of course, you might want to add some sort of humorous design, something a little bit fun, something a little bit creative, that kind of points to your creative side for that. So I love all these little drawings that have come in. I love the one before as well. This one here, 404, whoops. And this is what you're looking for, and then go back to, and then they've got like 4 different options there. So nice and simple, creative, sometimes funny. So let's have a look at some 404 pages that I found while kind of looking for some content for this slide. So a little bit trumping my own horn here a little bit, but this is one from my website. So this is my 0 Point Development 404 page. There's a little bit of JavaScript in there, and you basically get a Space Invader game, and you can blast the 404 that goes around while trying to avoid the bombs or the missiles or lasers that the aliens are bombing down on you. I have a little message at the bottom that just says, the page you're looking for doesn't exist. It might be removed or moved altogether. Perhaps you can return back to the site's homepage and see if you can find what you're looking for. And then just a simple button at the bottom to take them back to the homepage. But what I could do here is I could also maybe add a list of maybe my 4 latest blog posts, or maybe my latest video, or maybe a link to my shop as well. But there's some examples of just being a little bit more creative than just a graphic. So here's one that I really, really like. This one actually changed since I looked at Lego last time. The previous one had 3 little minifigs, and they had, I think someone was breaking a wire apart, and they were all kind of panicking. So this one's kind of similar. It's a bit fun. So they've got a minifigure here. He's in a little engineer costume here, and you can see on the expression of his face that it kind of looks like panic for there, and he's kind of running away. And this is very simple. It just says 404, sorry, we can't find the page, though everything is still awesome. And then rather than redirect to the homepage, Lego, of course, they're redirecting to the shop and trying to get people to buy there. So visually, it's really appealing. It kind of sets the emotion for those, and then it gives the user a link to go somewhere relevant, go to the shop and see if they can buy something. This one here is GitHub. So GitHub is a developer repository where you can upload code and websites and stuff like that. So here is their 404 page. It's a little bit of a poke, a little bit of a fun poke at the Star Wars film. And it simply says, this is not the web page you are looking for. So I kind of poke it, these are not the drones you're looking for from Obi-Wan. But it's kind of nice, it's kind of simple. It is actually animated, so if you look at it, the hover actually kind of bounces up and down a little bit. But they've got a simple search form at the very bottom. Let's get rid of me again. And it just allows them to find code, projects, or people on GitHub. So very simple, it's very plain, but it's fun, it's creative as well, and just allows them to navigate or search for content that they're looking for. A good segue into this one. So we're talking about Star Wars, and here's the actual starwars.com website 404 page. So we can see here they kind of cleverly brought the image of the Death Star into the actual 404 message itself. And it says, this page is not fully armed and operational. Try something else. And again, just a simple search form at the bottom. You'll see this kind of common things that people will put in the 404 page. What you don't want to do is you kind of don't want to overload it with like a billion options, you know, because people are going to be confused. They might be a bit frustrated that they couldn't find the thing they're looking for. So you want to be like very clear. This is, you know, you couldn't find this information, but here's something else that you can try. This one is the last one that I absolutely love. So the artist, comedian, author, Steve Lambert's website. I'll copy this link down here because you've got to go and watch this because it's really funny. That's not going to copy for me today. Copy link and paste link. There we go. So Steve says that this is the most awkward 404 not found page on the internet. It really is. So if you visit this this page, there's a Vimeo video on there. It's about 15 minutes long, 15 possibly 20 minutes long, and yes, I have watched it all. And it's basically about him wandering around an empty room, and he's kind of explaining, you know, why there's nothing here. And he kind of, you know, it's a little bit awkward. He's like, you know, well, I'm kind of sorry that there's nothing here, but, you know, whatever. And, you know, he invites you to maybe hang out with him while he's trying to explain that, you know, maybe you can click some links down below or kind of search some stuff if you want to, you know, you don't have to. And he kind of wanders around the room, umming and ahhing about stuff. And it is really, really awkward. Apparently he filmed it at 4:30 in the morning. He couldn't sleep one night and he went out for a walk, came back and just decided to ramble on about, you know, this 404 page. So give it a watch if you've got a spare 15 or 20 minutes. It's quite humorous. It's very long-winded, but you know, it's meant to be. But again, it's creative. It's something a little bit different. It's something that stands out. If you type 404 pages or best 404 pages or greatest 404 pages, this is actually one of the well-known ones. So it comes up in the top 5 of Google. And I'm sure it's not something that he wanted his website to be famous for, but it is, you know, and he gets a whole ton of links just to his 404 page. So if you have time, definitely look at this, watch the video. It's really funny. It's really dry. It's really quite awkward. But it's a great example of how you can jazz up your 404 page. So that's it, guys. That's my roundup of 404 pages, tips, what it is, what you can do with it, some things that you can put onto your 404 page, and ways that you maybe be a little bit more creative than just like the plain white page that says nothing found here. So yeah, make sure that you give all users the opportunity to navigate your website. Maybe go to your homepage, maybe go to your shop page, maybe your latest blog post, your latest video, or your latest products. But something simple, something easy that can you know, get them from navigating back at your website rather than just kind of click away for those. Let's see, if you've got any questions, just pop them down. Jonathan's got one. He says, you probably covered this before I arrived, but do I need to create a child theme to edit the 404 PHP page? No, you don't. It's probably a good idea. I'm saying all themes. I'm presuming all WordPress themes will come with a 404. Otherwise, WordPress will just spit out its own default 404 template. But I'd say most themes would have a 404 template. But yeah, you don't need to create a child theme to edit the 404 page. You can just edit it raw. But again, if you're updating something like 2022 or whatever it is, a base theme, if it has any updates, then the way that WordPress updates themes and plugins is it deletes the folder, downloads a zip file, and then unzips the files to the folder. So whatever changes you're going to make to your base theme's 404.php page is probably going to get zapped next time it gets updated. So yes, it's a good idea to create a child theme. You should also have a child theme, I think. And then once you've changed the 404 error page on the child theme, then you shouldn't lose any of that code because you're updating the parent and not the child theme. So yeah, great reminder, Jonathan, for child themes. Jonathan also asks, should one add a link to contact the webmaster to report a broken link if appropriate? You can do, I guess, in the very, very early days of the internet, so thinking back to like the 2000s, that sort of time, then yeah, there was a page or a link to people could report a 404 page. But now, I guess it's kind of more up to the website admin person. It should be a list on their to-do tasks for maintaining a website. It's going into Google Analytics, Google Search Console. Maybe you've got a service as well that you can run through and look for broken links as well. But it should be part of the WordPress admin's job to be looking for 404 and actively addressing them and redirecting them. So I'd probably not put a link now. It's just advertising spam nowadays. So probably not to report a broken link. But great question. Thank you for that, Jonathan. Just want to quick look at the iPad, see if there's anything else coming through. I can't see anything. So if there got any more questions, you can drop them down in the comments. Otherwise, I'll go through some of these little slides. So I'm always looking for topics as well. The past couple of weeks, I've been kind of humming and hawing whether or not I should continue these WP Quickies. I probably will, at least for the next 6 months of 2022. So if you guys have any topic ideas, you can send them in. There's a form down below in the description of the video and on Meetup as well. Where you can scan that code and just send me some topics through that I can cover in 2022 that I haven't already covered. Something that I can maybe cover in around about 20-25 minutes, a little bit of time for questions as well. So pile those in. It could be anything WordPress related. It could be about themes. It could be a particular theme. It could be a module. It could be anything you want. Send them in and I'll see if I can curate some topics for next year. A little bit of a shout out as well. So visit wpaustralia.org. You can see all the meetups across Australia and the big button to join us on Slack as well, which is our online community where you can chat to people, hang out, ask questions, answer questions, find some tips and stuff like that. I'll leave that on the screen just for a few seconds. If you look after websites for clients, then you can maybe have a look at that website in your own time. And happy to connect with you guys as well. I'm mostly on LinkedIn these days, building up a little bit of presence on Instagram as well, and kind of rarely on Twitter. Twitter is more of my soapbox that I go and kind of rants for those. But happy to connect with you guys if you haven't done so already. So we have the big WordPress meetup, so the 6 p.m. one at the end of the month. I'm going to be talking about 8 low-cost ways to drive traffic to your website. So come along for that. It's November the 29th. It's a Monday at 6 p.m. For that chat. But next week, on the WP Quickies, I'm going to be talking about global settings and styles with this new theme.json. So this allows you, when you're creating a theme, it allows you to set some defaults, set some global settings for fonts and colors and stuff like that, and some default settings for your theme as well that you can then load into the customizer. So it's fairly new. It's came out relatively recently in the last couple of WordPress versions. So I'm just going to take you through what that is. So if you're a theme designer, theme developer, then this might be of interest to you. Otherwise, just kind of joining, chat to me anyway. So guys, thank you very much for joining me. It's a quick one today. Thanks for your time. And take care, stay safe, and join you next week for this global styles and settings. See you next week. Bye.